We're going to be talking about perhaps one of the most important topics of really of business, but especially as it relates to developing trust and building relationships with centers of influence, CPAs, attorneys, is communicating your value. So I love this quote that I heard from Jim Rohn a long time ago about, he said, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And I'll tell you, what you're doing today, taking some time out to learn about value proposition, learn about how to communicate it. This is not your job. This is working on yourself. And what happens is the more you work on yourself, the more valuable you become. And then you ultimately start to attract success, attract clients, attract success in business and really in life. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive right into it. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's talk about how you actually find your value. All right. And you feel free to screenshot these or jot some of these questions down, but go through these questions. It'll help you start to craft and value or create your value proposition. What do you do well? Think of some of the strategies, some of your past successes. What do you do well? What problems do you solve? What clients do you work best with? Who should a COI refer to you? Think about your ideal client. And then most importantly here in the value proposition, how are you different from other advisors? What makes you different from them? Okay. Now we're going to go over these questions here in kind of one at a time, and feel free to answer as well some of the questions. Love to hear kind of what you do well. Right? So if someone were to ask you, what do you do well? What would you say? You go ahead and put that into the chat. I can see it here. So think about the products that you sell, the strategies that you provide. What type of solutions do you offer? Right. So question number one here is, what do you think you do well? All right. Love to hear your responses in the chat. And then now the second question, what problems do you solve? All right. What challenges do your clients have? How have you helped clients in the past? Right. I'm hearing, I'm seeing some people in the chat here, answering that first question. But, so now question two, also answer this as well. What problems do you solve? What challenges have you solved for clients in the past? Right. How have you helped clients in the past? What was you had a couple, you met with them, you gave them some advice. What challenge did they have? Go ahead and put that, answer that in the chat as well. I got, I'll just read one. Guide clients through a disciplined process to build wealth. That's what you do well. That's an example of something that Jennifer does really well. That's awesome. All right. Also to think about what problems that you solve. Okay. Question number three, what clients do you work best with? All right. So now get specific here. What is the income of your average client? Go ahead and put that in the chat. What is their profession? What type of clients do you deal with? What type of business do they run? How much revenue does their business generate annually? Right. So you get real specific here on the clients that you work with.